On today's episode of the Mark Titus Show, we may have gotten the game of the year in college basketball last night between Baylor and St. John's. This game had it all. 29 made threes, 33 turnovers. The balls was being thrown all over the gym last night. Both these teams combined to shoot less than 60% from the free throw line, but somehow shot like 60%. I think St. John's literally shot better from the three-point line than they shot from the free throw line. Baylor almost did. Tons of missed free throws. Dudes are pulling hamstrings left and right. There's multiple overtimes. In the end, Jeremy Roach hits the buzzer beater. St. John's is up 5 with like 6 seconds left. Edgecombe hits the 3. St. John's misses the free throws. Jeremy Roach hits the 3 at the buzzer to win for Baylor. Incredible game, and it all happened in what is becoming the best venue in college basketball, a random-ass hotel conference room in the Bahamas, which is where all the best college basketball games are played at this time of year. Incredible game. It was awesome. 2 Hall of Fame coaches going up against each other. St. John's was awesome in the first half. Their defense was nuts, and they were up 14. They were up more than that in the first half. They go to the halftime break up 14. Baylor's hitting everything in the second half. And, yeah, we got a double overtime thriller at the buzzer. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Also, the Kam Jones National Player of the Year campaign has officially started. He was awesome on Friday at Maryland. Had 28, I think, and 18 in the second half at Maryland, as we talked about it a little bit. Marquette got a big road win. Follows that up with a triple-double against number 6 Purdue on Tuesday night. I think that was Tuesday night. He gets the first triple-double in Marquette basketball history since Dwayne Wade in 2003 in the Elite Eight against Kentucky. I'm always surprised by that. Triple-doubles are like rare in college basketball, but then at the same time, dudes get them all the time, and like certain dudes will get them all the time, and it's not as impressive in college basketball as maybe as it should be. But then every so often you're reminded that it is impressive because you see a stat like this, that Kam Jones is the first guy to do it for Marquette since 2003. I don't know. I still am trying to figure out how impressive triple-doubles are. I think I've landed on, if it's a player I like that does it, it's really, really impressive, and I like Kam Jones. So I came away Tuesday night. Kam Jones has a triple-double against the number 6 team in the country. I was like, this guy's fucking unbelievable. And he is. And honestly, if the season ended right now, he'd be my National Player of the Year. But then I also think back on like last year, the year before, like triple doubles will pop up, and I'll be like, come on. I mean, that's not that big of a deal, is it? So I guess it just depends on which guy does it. But yeah, Kam Jones had never had a double-digit assist. I think I read that. He had never had a double-digit assist game, had never had a double-digit rebound game. And then he put up a triple-double against Purdue. He was awesome, and Marquette kind of smacked Purdue, kind of smacked him around a little bit. Big win for Marquette. Meanwhile, in Birmingham, Alabama, the Crimson Tide hang 100 points on Illinois in a top 25 matchup. And Mark Sears, the guy who I said going into the season would be the National Player of the Year, he was my prediction. He was my pick. I thought Mark Sears I thought the circumstances around Alabama basketball this year would lead to Mark Sears being National Player of the Year. Had 0 points. He was not hurt. He was not in foul trouble. He just did not score and did not play like the last 11 minutes of the game, because the story goes that he had told Nate Oates at some point along the line, I suck, coach. Play the other guys. And Nate Oates was like, all right. And they won. They beat a top 25 team rather comfortably. So what do we do with that information now that the apparently one of the best players in the country isn't playing the last 12 minutes of the game, and you still beat a top 25 team? On the one hand, if I'm a Bama fan, I'm like, we are so deep, we are scary. Our All-American doesn't even play, and we still beat top 25 teams by double digits. On the other hand, it's like, is Mark Sears okay? Is this all right? What do we got going on here? So we'll talk about that a little bit. Fraud power rankings and also are coming up. We're going to do the fraud power rankings on this Friday, as we kind of always do. And then we're going to cross off some teams. This is a mass exodus for the cross-off list. We have, what did I text you last night? What the number? 160?
160, yep.
I have like 160 teams I'm crossing off. And I have criteria. It wasn't just like, I don't like you, I'm crossing you off. I sat down this week and I actually thought through some criteria and some things I think we really need to focus on as the season progresses. So we're going to cross off some teams that we don't think can win the national title. An absolutely loaded show coming up. Let's get into it. All right, we'll get to Baylor St. John's in a second. Quick Moses update. Last show, I talked about my dog, and I know most of you probably don't give a fuck, and I understand that, but some of you did, and I appreciate those who reached out. I wasn't mentioning it for that. I wasn't fishing for pity or whatever else. I was just kind of being transparent. But anyway, update on the dog. We got the best news we could have reasonably gotten. So that's good. It was a whirlwind of a week. Basically what happened is over the weekend, Moses's legs just stopped working, and he was kind of paralyzed. And he's going to turn 14, as I said, not too long. And so you're like, fuck, that's not good. I think if it was like a 2-year-old dog, you're like, yeah, maybe he sprained his ankle or something. 14, you're like, that's not good. So we take him in to the emergency room. The first guy that looks at him's like, I think there's nothing obvious to me that's wrong. I think it's a neurological thing. And we don't have the capability to deal with that in this emergency room. So here's some medicine you can give him, take him home, monitor it, maybe talk to your primary vet, because this was over the weekend and our vet was closed. So then the next day, I think this was on Sunday or Monday morning or whatever, we wake up and he's somehow even worse. So we rush him to a different, we do some research. We find a neurological dog specialist. We take him to that place. They look him over. And yeah, this is on Monday. And they're basically the news they give us Monday evening is we're pretty sure he's just riddled with cancer. We're pretty sure he's just gonna have cancer out the wazoo. And that makes sense. He's almost 40. He's an older golden retriever. So my wife and I go home and basically just start ugly crying because we're just fuck, dude, we love Moses. We're gonna miss him. And then long story short, they do a million tests, and every single test, the doctor calls us we're gonna run this test, and I'm pretty sure we're going to find the cancer on this test. And they run the test. There's no cancer. There's no cancer. There's no cancer. They do an ultrasound. They can't find it. They can't figure out anything. They do an MRI, and they find out that he's his arthritis is basically pinching a nerve. I don't know. I don't know all the medical shit. But long story, he's not good. It's not a good thing. It's not oh, fucking sweet, dude. He's got degenerative arthritis that's pinching his nerve. But given the alternative and where I was at last show, I will take this, and the doctors seem optimistic, and the vets were we can rehab him back and give him some meds and manage it. So I was like, yeah, this is great news. So anyway, if you cared, if you gave a shit, thank you. I don't expect you to. I understand, but I did, and I was in a tough spot this week. But Moses seems like he's gonna be all right. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's the
I
update.
can see some rejuvenated Mark Titus.
I am very happy, dude. I'm very happy.
It was. Mark was walking in the other day sad.
I was very sad.
He was very sad. He had to gut out a podcast. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
But with that,
Brett Favre when his dad died, going to Oakland and throwing 4 touchdowns.
With that being said, you could tell a visible difference once you got that second phone call. So very happy.
Yeah, we got. I mean, like I said, it's not like the doctor was oh, he's going to be totally. Right. Yeah, it's well, this still sucks. But that was kind of why I was in a bad mood, because I was no matter what the best case scenario is, it's still not great.
Right.
But given the alternative, this was the best news we could have hoped for. And
no Maui still?
No Maui, dude, which
no
is
Maui.
That's yeah.
I know.
You know what? I want to talk about.
Now you're sad again.
I want to talk about basketball, but my mother-in-law is coming to. She was coming to watch the dog while we were in Maui.
So you canceled Maui. So you canceled the mother-in-law, right?
We did not, Tate. So instead of going to Maui and watching 4 national title contenders in Auburn, Iowa State, UConn, and North Carolina, and Michigan State fans say, "What about us?" Maybe, probably not, almost certainly not. Dayton fans we like our team. Great field. Mm-hmm. Memphis has a decent team. Colorado's probably not that good, but they're playing. They're undefeated as far as I know. It was going to be a great field. Instead of going there and watching that in paradise, I'm in Chicago with my mother-in-law for a week, taking care of my dog that can't really walk as snow and rain.
I was going to say, at least the weather's good.
Sun. And there's no telling when we'll see the sun next. So, yeah, it's pretty much the same, man. We're good. We're all, as you said, I'm rejuvenated.
Yeah, I can tell.
Anyway, enough of that bullshit. Let's talk about the basketball from last night. I'm going to start with this, just a we will talk about the games. Probably not so much the Tennessee-Virginia game. I like this Tennessee team. They feel like a mix in between last year's Tennessee team and like your typical Rick Barnes Tennessee team, if that makes sense. Like they're not. I kind of said that. Like the last time we were talking about, like Chaz Lanier is not Dalton Connect, but I do feel like I trust Tennessee's offense a little more than I trust the average Rick Barnes team. At the same time, Tennessee is not a team that I'm like, dude, I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to watch them light up the scoreboard. I don't think that's gonna happen. So anyway, last night, the Tennessee, that was like exactly what I expected out of Tennessee, Virginia. Tennessee's a better basketball team. It was a defensive slugfest. Don't really need to talk about that one as much. We will talk about the St. John's Baylor game, but my broad point about those two games and this tournament they have is this. What is this tournament?
The Bahamas.
That's my point.
Yeah.
The point I want to make is this. What the fuck is this thing? Because isn't Battle for Atlantis next week in the Bahamas? Is this in a different hotel ballroom? They were talking like on the broadcast last night, like the CBS sports guys are like, it's always a joy to come down here to Baha Mar
Convention Center.
We've been doing this for decades. I remember back in 1976 when we came down here for the Baha Mar Classic, and I'm obviously exaggerating, but like they were talking about it like this has been going on forever. I was like, what the fuck? Like this is. In fact, when I looked up like at the start of the week that St. John's Baylor were playing each other in the Bahamas, my mind immediately went to Atlantis. Then I was like, that the dates aren't right. Atlantis is the week after, but maybe they're. I don't know. Like maybe this is like an Atlantis runoff or something. I had no fucking clue. And then I'm watching last night.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
St. John's traveled. There was people down there. It was impressive.
I was just confused. It'd be very strange if they were playing a tournament in Maui right now.
That's
like
true.
Down the road.
I don't hate that.
Like not in the Lahaina Civic Center, but it's like down the road.
Let's start a tournament
on the island
the week before Maui, like before Feast Week. We'll call it like Appetizer
Week. Anyway. Yeah, I didn't know this thing existed. I guess that's the point. Is like this event has grown. I guess to a level now where they're getting marquee matchups and marquee games. So kudos to them for that. And we got that last night. Baylor wins on the Jeremy Roach buzzer beater. St. John's choked this away. There's really no other way to put this. St. John's completely choked this away. They choked it away like 12 different times. The second half, Baylor was hitting a lot of tough threes. But St. John's was turning the ball over like crazy, not making free throws. Kadary Richmond was like, he looked like he was. I don't know. I couldn't figure out. Edgecombe was dying until he wasn't. Richmond was kind of doing the same thing where I couldn't tell if he like pulled a hamstring or he like shit his pants.
But they
he
both
was, like
kept
hobbling.
It was almost like they wanted everyone to notice that they were playing 45 minutes. That they
were these missed shot injuries.
Oh, the loser's limp.
Is this what we were dealing with? I'm not saying we were. I'm just trying to figure out what was going on because Edgecombe, you saw it. He's hobbling around out there, and I'm like, this guy might never walk again. And then he hits the clutch shot to
suffering from going 4-15 as well. So
I know. I like VJ. I like the idea of VJ Edgecombe, I should say. I haven't really.
Yeah, what have you seen so far that has made you like him more than what just the hype coming in?
Yeah, I know that's the problem. I see the vision. Obviously, he's got a decent looking shot. It doesn't go in, but it looks like his mechanics look fine to me. He's long and athletic, and he's a fucking freak athlete. So I understand. Like if you look up mock drafts and they're like Edgecombe's going to go top 5, I understand why, but.
Well, you see that decent looking shot over and over because he continuously has been shooting. We just need to see a little makes.
I know. Yeah, every time I seem to watch him play, he does not make shots, which is a problem. And it's really that's where if Baylor can figure out consistent defense, and I thought in the second half they played better defense, but they are stuck in between. We talked about it with the Gonzaga game and the Arkansas game, and this is just kind of Baylor's calling card a little bit. They are stuck between we switch up defenses because it is going to throw wrenches at the opposing team's offenses, and we switch up defenses because we can't find a defense that we like. And it like fluctuates, and every so often you're like, oh, I like this. Yeah. I like that they're mixing this up.
Scott Drew's doing a great job keeping them on their toes.
And then there are stretches where you're like, they're mixing it up clearly because they can't find shit that works. If they can hone in defensively, and if Edgecombe he doesn't even have to fully realize his potential, just not start like 1 for 12 in big games. Mm-hmm. They are going to be very good because their offense is Their offense is really good.
But I'll say this. If the second half doesn't go the way it does, I think your narrative is completely different right now. Like, you come in and you think about Baylor so far this year. They got boat raced on opening night by Gonzaga.
Yeah.
They have played two very bad teams, and yes, they beat Arkansas by 5, but I don't know if we were overly impressed by that.
No, I was just laughing at Arkansas.
Right.
Yeah.
And then last night, they're down 18 points in the first half to a St. John's team, and you're like, wait, is Baylor not legit?
Yeah.
They come all the way back, win a double overtime game, and now you're here saying this team.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, they had bad body language in the first half. There's no want to, as they say.
It's more of a got
want to. Yeah, but halftime adjustments were made, and the adjustments were, what if we started making our threes?
Yeah, that's a good speech out of Drew.
What if we just started hitting everything? And they got hot in the second half, and St. John's was. I don't think St. John's really fully understood what the score was until Baylor took the lead. That's my theory.
They didn't take the lead for the first time till like 3 minutes to go. 2 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think they were paying attention to the scoreboard. And then like Baylor, I forget how they took the lead, but it was 74-73. I don't know why I remember that, but Baylor takes like a 74-73 lead. It's their first lead of the game. And the Baylor fans that are there, you said it. I thought both teams traveled well. Now it helps that like you're playing in a fucking conference center.
Yeah, they weren't
that holds 20 people, but like the people that are there got loud. The Baylor fans rise to their feet, and it felt like St. John's was like, why are they so excited?
And St. John's took a timeout immediately.
And then they looked up at the scoreboard. They're like, fuck, dude, we're losing?
You're exactly right. So Jaden Nunn hit a jumper with 2:41 left, and then everyone was like, they dribbled across half court, and they're like, fuck, timeout. Timeout. And then Coach Pitino had to be like, all right, boys, we're now losing.
Yeah. Just a horrendous way to lose a basketball game, though, especially like down the stretch. The Edgecombe, who couldn't hit shit all night, tough shot. Like, you got to give him credit for that. The tough three to put them in position,
correct, to
then foul, to then hit the game winning three. That was not an easy shot at all. And he has a hand in his face at the top of the key, just rises up and hits it. But St. John's to miss 2 free throws, and then R.J. Lewis gets a hand on the. I took a screenshot of it and sent it to my dad because I was like, look at this. This is the brutal way to lose. Mm-hmm. The ball's in his hand with 4 seconds left, right by his own basket.
And up 2.
Up 2, and it just slips out. Baylor pushes it up the floor, and Roach hits the 3. It was awesome. It was an awesome game, and it was one of those, like, I hope this never. How many overtimes is perfect amount of overtime? Because I wanted to say I hope it never ends, but then I also think back on the Cuse UConn game back in the day, and I'm like, I remember watching that thinking, okay, I think I'm ready.
Is 2 perfect?
2 might be perfect.
2, because once you get to 1, it's like, all right, this is cool. Once you get to 2, it's like, oh, shit, we got – because that's when you start calling it, let me tell you this, double overtime.
Double overtime.
That's a big-time name.
That's great. Triple overtime.
Triple might be it, because you don't really go –
Triple's awesome. Quadruple overtime, I'm like, all right, let's – because the other thing, quadruple overtime, dudes start fouling out. Dudes are gassed.
It doesn't you got the JV team.
Yeah, it doesn't resemble, like, actual basketball. It's just like a war of attrition at this point. Triple might be. It's double or triple. Do you say
quadruple though? Because here's my thing. It might be. It might be a litmus test of you go overtime, double, triple, and then you go 4
OTs. Okay,
that's why I'm out.
Because you change to 4. You don't say quadruple. I say quintuple when it's 5 overtime.
You do not.
I say sextuple.
Keep going.
It's 6. When
give me one more.
Octup.
You skipped one.
Say is uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. 7 overtime.
You just changed languages. All right, that's our official rule. Once you have
what is 7?
Sept.
I thought that was sex. 6 is sex.
No, I'm saying sept.
But 6 is sex.
Sextuple.
6 is sex.
Yeah, 6.
Is 6 sex?
6 is sex.
7 is sep.
Sept. Like September. The 9th month of the year.
The 9th month. What are we doing?
That's because of Julius Caesar, right? Because October is the 10th month of the year. November is the 11th month of the year.
Okay.
It could be 9.
So he snuck.
July and August are.
When did we add 2 months?
For July and August are for Julius and Augustus Caesar. That like fucks everything up.
Where's he pulling this from? Who is this guy?
Is that real?
What's
I don't know.
doing? What's
if
TJ?
True, that's one of the cooler things I've ever heard.
I know a lot about a little.
What TJ's been sitting on this for.
That's 2 shows in a row. Chocolate orange and then Julius Caesar.
I've been waiting for us to talk about the months, how the months correlate to numbers for a while.
TJ, I do have to give you an orange update. You left it out there on the table. Shane was eating one. He's like, "Oh, is this a chocolate orange?" I said, "No. It is a orange flavored chocolate.
Yeah.
Took a bite.
Yeah, no one likes it.
No offense, Terry.
Terry's not that popular around
No.
here. It seems like. Septuple. That's what we learned. Septuple overtime.
That's where we stopped wanting
where we
overtime.
stopped. Anyway, I felt like it was a perfect basketball game. Got the big lead. They squandered it, and then they held on to forced overtime. I feel bad for St. John's because they have to believe that they should have won this game. But I see the vision with St. John's. When I said that St. John's was my sleeper pick, if you want to call it that, my Final Four preseason. I was like, I gotta pick a team off the beaten path. I see the vision with them. They played great defense in the first half. I think if I'm making excuses for them, I would say whatever Kaderi Richmond was dealing with probably affected them a little bit. Although RJ Lewis kind of disappeared. Who's the white kid they had that was coming in that was just like gunning threes? There was a stretch where he missed like
Brady Dunlap. Is that who you're talking about?
Dunlap. Yeah, Dunlap comes in. He was 2 for 5 from 3, but the 3 he missed.
No. Aaron Scott 5 of 6. I'm sorry.
Oh no, Dunlap's the guy I was thinking of.
Okay.
Dunlap's the guy I was thinking of. He comes in, and it felt like there was a stretch where Celestine on the on Baylor, who comes off the bench for them, and he's just like he's like a make shots guy, and if he's hitting, it's like, all right, let's keep him out there. If he's not, it's like, all right, get him out of there. He played 32 minutes. He was 4 for 5 from 3. He was hitting everything, and it felt like a stretch where like Celestine for Baylor is hitting threes, and then Dunlap is not, and I was like, maybe we talk to Dunlap and get the ball to RJ Lewis and get the ball to Kaderi Richmond, and but I felt like that was like a stretch where St. John's again like just wasn't paying attention to what the score was. They'll figure it out. I trust Pitino. I trust that Pitino will use this as a teaching moment, if we want to call it that. We'll point to this and be like, fellas, just because you're up. Were they ever up 20?
They're up 18. I
was gonna say, yeah. I was about to say 20, but I didn't remember it ever getting. Just because you're up 18 in the first half doesn't mean this game's over. We gotta stick with it. But big win for Baylor. You're right, because Baylor, the narrative would have been completely. If Jeremy Roach misses that 3, you're probably right. I'd probably sit in this chair and say I'm worried about Baylor. So it's amazing how one shot can change
everything.
Yeah,
got to make free throws too. End of the day, got to make free. 57%. That's not very good.
57, which
they missed a couple big ones. Like obviously the 2 at the end are glaring, but I think they also had a chance to go up 6 before Edgecombe's 3, and they missed a free throw then too. That's no good.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. St. John's 58.3%. They were 14 for 24 from the 3-point line, but 16 for 28 from the free throw line.
You ever had that problem?
Yeah, actually,
you're like, hey, coach, I got to scoop back.
I wasn't a good free throw shooter in high school.
How's that a thing? Because people say that like, hey, I'm no good at mid-range. I'm no good at free throws, but I'm shooting 60%.
For me, it was I realized they were only worth 1 point. I was like, this is fucking wasting my time.
Math guy.
Yeah, like, this is a fucking waste of my time. What are we doing here,
coach?
I was like, let's.
3's great.
I don't want to shoot. Like, can we check it up top? And
1 3 is worth 3 free throws, coach.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Quick break to talk about DraftKings. The Emirates NBA Cup is here. You can win big getting in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Will LA repeat? We'll find out soon. There's sure to be rim-rattling slams and no-look passes that bring the crowd to their feet. Get behind your favorite players and the prop bets you can make on DraftKings, the home of NBA player props. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. First time, here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers get bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook. Every point counts. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Titus. That's code Titus, Titus, for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Kam Jones. I want to talk about him real quick.
Are you changing your player of the year pick based on what's happened in the last 3 days?
Not if you follow Barstool U accounts. I'm sticking with apparently my preseason top 10 for the rest of the season.
Who tweets that shit?
Is that you, Cody?
Bro, no, it's whoever Barstool U is, no offense, but also offense. They're tweeting shit. I'm not even talking about just from 2 weeks ago. They'll tweet shit from a year ago, and then people will be like, dude, what a dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said it a year ago.
Yeah.
They still keep tweeting out our top 10 players. It's been 3 weeks into the season.
It's been 3 weeks. Yeah, no shit. I'm a dummy. If you had Mark Sears as your number 1 player in college basketball right now, you're a fucking
They
dummy.
tweeted that yesterday, and everyone was like, dude, he scored 0 points. Yeah, I didn't make the list yesterday.
Shit. Yeah. Huh. Makes you think. Makes you think.
It's
coming from within inside these walls, I think, though.
I'll figure it out.
Somebody's sabotaging us. Kam Jones, I said at the top, I think Kam Jones is National Player of the Year if the season ended right now. He talked a little bit about it on Tuesday's show about the Maryland Marquette game. Briefly, I was just like talking about his scoring ability, and I said I think he has a chance to lead the nation in scoring. Mm-hmm. This game against Purdue, he was not really scoring that much. He was not having a bad game. I don't mean it was a bad game at all. He was still, even when he wasn't scoring, he was still obviously dishing out assists and grabbing rebounds. And Purdue was making him a focal point for their defensive game plan, obviously, and he's finding open teammates and all that. Dude still scored 17 points, mm-hmm. and that's why I think he's. Saying he's going to lead the nation in scoring is probably too bold, to be honest, because of things we were talking about earlier in the week. That the smaller school guys that are going to chuck 25 times a game mm-hmm. are probably in a better position to do it than he will. But I think that is the exact game you point to as to why one he could lead the nation in scoring, even though again on this night he only had 17. And two, why he's my National Player of the Year pick is that he has got the perfect cast around him. Stevie Mitchell and Chase Ross was hitting threes, and Ben Gold, the big man that could step out and stretch the floor. Kam Jones is an unbelievable scorer. He might be the most naturally gifted scorer in college basketball. You cannot double team him though, and that is like a perfect mix. One for Marquette. But two, for individual accolades, that I think this is just going to be a typical kind of night for him. Not triple doubles, but just like him dominating games. It feels like this is just what we're going to see from Kam Jones. Now, I will say Purdue defensively needs to figure some shit out. I don't think Purdue. I think Bama bricking a lot of open threes may have given. I'm not saying this is happening internally in their locker room, but like maybe the general national thoughts on Purdue. Maybe this is what happened. Bama bricking a bunch of wide open threes maybe gave us a belief that Purdue's better defensively than they actually mm-hmm. are. Because I don't think this is not a typical like Purdue, like we have play hard on the ass of our shoulder or on the ass of our shorts, our practice shorts, and we're gonna fucking lock up and play great mm-hmm. defense and slap the floor and get physical and all that. I don't really feel. I think they have like individual players who can do that. But I think as a unit, Purdue is not a defensive team. So, there could be that as to why Kam Jones went off. I don't think that's the case. I think Kam Jones is just that dude, and he's that good.
I've got your updated DraftKings Sportsbook Wooden Award winners list
okay.
here.
Let me guess. Can I guess?
Yeah, I'll let you. I want you to guess. I want you to try and guess the top 5, and I'll just tell you if they're in it or not.
I think Cooper Flagg's probably still the favorite.
Cooper Flagg is the favorite, and he's not the prohibitive favorite, but it's a substantial difference.
It's a substantial difference, yeah. I think Cooper Flagg is probably still going to be the favorite.
Mm-hmm. It's your 1 for 1.
I think Hunter Dickinson is either
tied for 2. So there's someone tied with Hunter.
Mark Sears didn't fall off that much, but he definitely fell.
He's 5th.
He did fall that much.
So 2 and 4 are tied.
I think he was okay.
Yeah, Mark Sears is now tied for 4th.
Is it R.J. Davis?
He's the one tied with Sears. You're 4 for 5 so far.
And then it's Kam Jones.
Kam Jones.
Where's Kam Jones in?
2nd.
He is now 2nd.
Yeah, he's tied with Hunter. So the two that I would say that I'm shocked that are not in the top 5, Kalkbrenner.
Yeah.
Is that?
Well, Kalkbrenner hasn't done it. He's been awesome, and this isn't a knock on him. I'm just like explaining why he's probably not there. He hasn't had like a big marquee game. He's not on.
And if he does. Wouldn't you say that's not a bad bet right now to be outside the top 5?
Yeah, that's not at all. I mean, they've Creighton hasn't played anybody yet. Their schedule gets harder here, coming up,
mm-hmm.
and then we'll see Kalkbrenner against. I think let me pull this up. Yeah, they do. They play Kansas at home.
So that'd be
4th.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's
for him. Yeah.
Like once we get to that point and Kalkbrenner plays well against Hunter Dickinson, then things change.
The other one that I'm been fascinated with has been Janai Broom from Auburn. I think he's a good. He's 12-1 right now. He's 6th. No, he's 7th. I'm sorry. He's 7th. Yeah. I mean, they look like, in my opinion, the best team in the country right now.
Yeah.
And he's putting up the
numbers. I think that his case is going to be kind of what you said. They're the best team in the country, and he's the best player on the best team, which isn't to say he's not good. But I think the argument right now for the other guys, I'm way oversimplifying this. So don't take this the wrong way, but if a lot of the other guys feel more like one man show type things, which they're not, but like it's like a clear hierarchy of like this is the dude and we're all falling in line. Team. And Jani Broome is unquestionably the best player on Auburn, but he's not like a guard, which I think matters, and Hunter's not either, but for some reason like he's been around 1,000 fucking years and he's impossible to miss when you're watching Kansas play. But I think Jani Broome is the general college basketball fan. Like if you know who Jani Broome is at this point, if you're a diehard, but when you watch Auburn, you might not realize how productive he actually is. And you're just kind of watching and you're like, damn, they got this dude, they got this dude, they got this dude. And you look up and Jani Broome has like 19 and 12.
Yeah. I mean, he's averaging 20 and 12 right now. He has a huge signature win against Houston.
Yeah.
He's got Iowa State coming up this week.
Yeah.
I don't know. If Auburn wins the SEC and he's putting up 20 and 12,
I know. Yeah, it just doesn't. I don't think he feels like he dominates games, which is not a slight on him at all. Auburn as a team dominates the game.
So you're saying
he's like the tip of the spear versus like.
Well, how do the voters go on that? Because you're saying, and I agree with you. Do they go best player on best team because he could be that?
Yeah.
But also he's not going to be the featured person that you see every single time Auburn's out on the court and such like that.
No, I think if they continue on this trajectory, I think he's very much in the mix. Yeah. Okay. And he should be, and I think it's deserving. I don't want Auburn fans to take it the wrong way. I'm not knocking your guy. I'm just explaining like, the difference between watching a Kam Jones and a Jani Broome. It's pretty stark in terms of the individual jumping off the screen at you. But Jani Broome's awesome, and he's just like a solid guy for Auburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. Cooper, like Kam Jones, to me, it's not even close. If the season ended right now, he should.
Yeah, why is Cooper? So they're saying Cooper over the long haul.
Yeah, I guess they're just predicting that Cooper won't play Mark Pope.
Kind of sizable difference too. Yeah. They don't have to play Kentucky every game. They're not going to play. No, I think they're assuming they're not going to play in enough close games at the end.
Yeah,
because that hurt his.
They're not going to Cooper Flagg's not going to spin to the middle anymore now that the clip's out there. Mark Pope being like he's going to spin, and when he does. Let's just take the ball.
Go get him.
Speaking of Mark Sears a little bit in National Player of the Year conversations, what the hell was that?
Was it good or bad?
What the hell was that?
I need 100 points with Mark Sears scoring 0.
I think it's
good or bad.
I think it's good, and I think it's good. I have to believe it's good. It's bad for Mark Sears. It's bad.
It is bad for Mark Sears.
It's not good. It's not good for Mark Sears.
Confirmed not good for Mark Sears.
Bad for Mark Sears. I do think it's good for Bama, and I do think for as bad as Mark Sears was in this game, because he goes 0 for 5. He goes 0 for 4 from 3. Obviously doesn't score a point. There is a world in which he could have still had a good game scoring 0 points. That world is like you're racking up assists. That
0,
world is he had 2 assists.
Yeah.
He had 2 turnovers. He did nothing. He was not particularly great defensively.
Mark Sears almost had $1 trillion.
He almost had a $20 trillion, dude, in a top 25 matchup. Am I overreacting to say that this individual game in November, how many games into the season? 5 games into the season for Alabama, disqualifies him from winning National Player of the Year?
I was shocked to see that he was still in the top 5 because. Do you think there has ever been a National Player of the Year that has put up a 0 in a game?
I don't think so.
And then do it in a top 25 matchup when the team scored 100. I have 0 research on that. That's never happened.
I'm trying to think of the guys that would come to Anthony Davis. I know didn't score a ton at Kentucky, but there's no way he had a 0-point game unless he got hurt or something. I don't remember. He rolled his ankle early against a small school, and they're like, we don't want to risk it. Let's just keep him out the rest of the game. To play 20 minutes and not be injured, there's no way a National Player of the Year scored 0 points.
Did Evan Turner ever score 0 points?
I don't think so. I don't think he did. No, I don't think so. I don't think he did. TJ Ford may have. He would be the only other candidate I could think of. Because his candidacy was like assists and defense, and he still averaged like 15 a game though. He wasn't. But I'm trying to think of the guys that come to mind as like National Player of the Year that weren't like scorers first, that had stinker games.
Trying to look up TJ.
I don't know, but this is a good problem that Alabama has, I guess. Phylon is really the problem for me. Like Aiden Holloway, who was a highly touted recruit going to Auburn last year, transferred from Auburn to Bama, which was heavily publicized and was used as an example of the new world we live in. You're going from rival to rival. He off the bench had a great game in this game. I think they think very highly of him, the Bama people, and I think that's why they got him in the portal. And he's not starting, but he's when you talk about Bama, you talk about their depth, and he is one of the reasons why that you're bringing like a guy who last year was one of the hottest recruits in the country. You're bringing him off the bench now in year 2 of his career. But this kid Phylon, the freshman, he's the real issue. If you're someone who bet on Mark Sears winning National Player of the Year, if you're someone like me, I didn't bet on it, but I sat in front of a microphone and camera and said he's going to win National Player of the Year. The concern for the Mark Sears National Player of the Year campaign is more LeBaron Phylon loves having the ball in his hands and is a playmaker and is a fucking problem. And my thought that like Javon Quinterly is out now, so this year we're gonna see a lot of Mark Sears primary ball handler. Mark Sears, like if you want to do an exaggerated version, it's like prime James Harden, Mark Sears, where he's just gonna be fucking ball screening people to death, ISOing guys to death. You bring 2, I kick it, there's an assist. You don't bring 2, I'm getting to the bucket, there's a layup. You collapse late as I'm getting to the bucket, here's a lob to the big man. You don't do any of that, here's a 3 in your eyeball. Like I thought that was going to be Mark Sears nonstop all season. And early on, it's like, Mark Sears, you go sit over there, we're going to give the ball to LeBaron Phylon, we're going to let him cook.
And that's what happened. And
it's working, so they're not going to change that.
Mark Sears is playing more minutes per game than Phylon. Phylon's averaging 2 more assists, and they're averaging the same amount of points. So, I mean, Mark Sears isn't winning Player of the Year with 13 and 3 a game. Yeah. 13 points, 3 assists a game. But did you see what he did after the game?
I did, and I want to not talk about that too much because we're going to pivot into the fraud power rankings right now.
Do you want to?
It's a little tease.
Before we get to the fraud power rankings, I know we checked in with Bosco last week. Do we want to hear? Do you want to hear the pulse of the Tide?
I don't think we need to.
Not today.
Not this time. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it was good. He had good shit when they lost to Purdue, but I don't think we need to.
Okay.
I don't think we need to today. Let's just get to the fraud power rankings. The Mark Titus Show is brought to you by Cars.com. Want to find a trustworthy dealer? You want to find dealership reviews from shoppers like you? Cars.com offers the latest research, shopping tools, and dealership reviews to help every shopper find the perfect car. Shop by monthly payment or filter by features to find the car that fits your budget and needs. Go to Cars.com. Start exploring your next possibility today. Car buying can be a hassle. It doesn't have to be. Cars.com. Once you try Cars.com, you will never buy a car any other way again. Visit Cars.com and start exploring your next possibility today. This is a fun one. Fun fraud power rankings this week. I had a lot of fun putting these together. Which I have fun every week, but like there's some weeks that are just more fun than others. Yeah. And this one was, I had a delight last night. So first honorable mention, this is not, they do not make the fraud power rankings. Do not get this twisted. Do not read too much into this. This does not mean that they are number 6 on the fraud power ranking. There's only 5. There's only 5 spots.
You got fucked on the graphic last week.
I got fucked on the graphic last week, Tate. That's why I'm saying this. There's only 5 on the fraud power ranking.
And they went 10. You gave
We don't do 10. We don't do 10.
I'll make sure that doesn't. I'm going to blog it.
5.
The graphic will go out. These are honorable mentions.
Yes. They're honorable mentions. You're not on the fraud power rankings. It means that you did enough to get my attention. I sat on it and I said, not enough.
Okay.
Not putting you on the fraud power rankings. Yep. We can't just be giving out 10. This isn't a participation trophy ass fraud power rankings. You got to fucking earn it. Honorable mention, Todd Golden.
I didn't see that coming.
Olivia officially is redshirted. Not going to see him all year. I'm fucking done with this guy, this Todd Golden guy. I'm fucking done with him. I've had it.
What do you think the reason is?
I don't know. He's probably not that good.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's taken you 3 weeks to figure it out, but
it's probably just not that good.
Maybe he's not good.
I thought maybe we'd see him out there, though. I want to watch him like dunk a basketball without jumping. I wanted to watch him just kind of.
I can't wait for next year.
I just wanted to see Florida play. Who's I guess I don't need to get specific.
They're 5-0.
I wanted to see Florida play. Oh, they just played Florida A&M. Here we go.
They got Southern Illinois tonight.
Florida A&M's point guard, Trey Lewis, 5'11". That's not even that short. I want to see this dude like guard a ball screen with like a 5'9" guy coming off a ball screen, and then he's just like and we got to live it. Like I just wanted to see the Jose Altuve.
Yeah,
Aaron
I was gonna
Judge
say
picture. Yeah.
that'd be a perfect photo to see.
That's what I wanted to see. And this motherfucker Todd Golden just redshirts his kid.
This dude's been now he's not on the rankings, but man,
That's why get him out of here. That's why I was gonna put him on again, but I don't want to give him I don't want to dignify what Todd Golden's got going on with this Olivier Roux kid. That you gotta. Couldn't you have played him like one game and then still redshirt? You don't burn the red shirt if you play one game.
There's no chance.
Give us
in
one
football,
peek.
you can play 4 games.
Yeah.
That's a third of the
Just
season.
give us a peek. Give us one peek. Just give us a little taste and then redshirt him.
33%.
You can play 33%.
You can play in
games
roughly 10 games.
That's crazy, dude. And they're redshirting him out of the gate. He probably knows better than I do how good he is. He
Yeah.
probably has a better idea than I do.
You're going to be on Todd Golden's fraud power rankings.
Todd Golden has been coaching this kid every day for months now. I saw one clip of him high-fiving a 7-footer, and the 7-footer had to jump. And I was like, I've seen enough. Throw him out there. I want to see what he looks like.
I was going to say, you have seen how tall he is.
Todd Golden is the only honorable mention this week. We're moving on to the actual fraud power rankings. Here we go. At number 5, Tara Vanderveer. Is it Tara or is it Tara?
Tara.
Tara Vanderveer, former women's basketball coach at Stanford, who was just passed by Gino Auriemma as the winningest coach of all time. She had the record, which is how records were. That's how I just said Gino passed her. She retired this past season, which I get it. You're getting up there. You've been at it a long time. You've done all there is to do. She won like 3 national titles. Won 1,200 games in her career, 1,217 I think. I decided enough's enough. I'm gonna hang it up. I looked it up. Tara Vanderveer is only 70 years old, Tate. She's only 70 years old. So I'm on the heels of last week. We were talking about Fog Allen. I'm like, Tara, you gotta. There's a lot of things at play here. Number one, we could have had a Coach K Jim Boeheim situation where Tara Vanderveer and Gino Auriemma are coaching at the same time, and she just continues to she just pulls a Coach K and is like, I am not going to quit until you quit because you are not beating my record.
And do you know how old Gino is?
The exact same. I think Tara's 71 and Gino's 70.
Is 70. This could have been an all-time who's going to die first race.
Yes.
It would have been I'm going to outlive you because one of us is going to win 29 games in our last year.
I'm here to tell you, if Jim Boeheim was still coaching at Syracuse, Coach K would still be a Duke. And that is a fact. That is not even my opinion. That is a fact, and if you cannot refute that fact. That Coach K, there was no fucking timeline where if Coach K died on the sideline, they would throw his corpse on the bench, give him all of the wins.
Get another win, yeah.
There is no world where Jim Boeheim was going to pass him. Now Tara Vanderveer's in a similar boat, and I hated it when Coach K did it, but I think in this instance, Gino is the Coach K, Tara is the Jim Boeheim. I wanted to see Tara Vanderveer come out on top, and she just one do it for Fog Allen, who was forced into retirement at 7 years old. 2, do it for just the game of chicken, of which one's going to retire first or die. Yeah, that would have been fucking awesome. 3, you're not even that old.
Yeah. This is
Leonard Hamilton's 76. He's still coaching at Florida State.
Think of all the kids out there
which is probably a bad example because Leonard Hamilton's kind of lost a little.
like all the kids out there that want to work past 70. And this just shows to me Gino wants it more.
Gino does want it more.
Gino wants it more.
I know, and that's what I saw the headline. Gino beats Tara Vanderveer, takes her record or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, good for Gino. I guess it was going to be inevitable. By the way, how old is Tara Vanderveer? I looked it up and I was like, she like 84? She's 84.
Just turned 71.
She just turned 71. She had so much gas left in the tank, dude. And she's talking like, I want to spend time with my family. I want to find other pursuits that fulfill me in life. And there's I've kind of done everything there is to do. It's like, what are you talking about?
Disgusting.
What are you talking about? Get your ass back on the bench.
I hope this fires her up.
Get your ass back on the bench and give us a fucking show. You versus Gino, racing for the most wins.
Is there anything, if my counterpoint to you is this, Pac-12 dies.
Yeah.
Tara Vanderveer said, I'm not coaching, and no.
Maybe it was just the long flights. She's like, I don't want to coach in the ACC. I'm not trying to take flights to the...
If I know anything about you, Titus, that would switch you sides right there.
Yeah.
You're not...
Honestly,
what are you doing? Stanford to North to...
Yeah, if Tara Vanderveer is like, I just don't want to take a long flight, I'd be like...
I would rather not take a 12-hour flight than be the all-time leader in wins.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Just I don't know. Reading that after we covered it last week on the Fraud Power Rankings, the Kansas Board of Regents telling Fog Allen to retire. I got fired up about that. Fog Allen was forced into retirement at 70 years old. Tara Vanderveer lives in a world where she doesn't have to retire.
Yeah, where women can work as long as
women are allowed to work as long as they
Yep.
want, and
And let me say this: I wish a woman held the record in women's basketball. I wish Tara had it over Gino. It's a women's game.
It's kind of
Let me say this:
Do you think if someone breaks if a man breaks Caitlin Clark's career scoring record
in women's basketball or men's basketball,
are they gonna do what they did with when Caitlin Clark passed Pete Maravich and they're like she broke the men's? Do you think it'll work that way? We have some guy that's like played 7 years of college basketball because eligibility doesn't fucking matter anymore. Oh. Some guy beats Caitlin Clark's record. They're showing graphics to like he's the all-time leader in women's basketball. Gino's the all-time leader.
Let me say this:
basketball's dominated.
Let me say this, Titus. If that's number 5, I'm hyped up for these rankings.
Oh,
these are good rankings already.
It gets better. At number 4, this is a story that flew under my radar. And then Dabo Sweeney, how do you say his name? Dabo puts this on my radar. At number 4, class action lawsuits against the NCAA. And here's why I find them fraudulent. I was led to believe up until really this week that class action lawsuits against the NCAA are fucking awesome. And I'm going to tell you why I believe that. About 10-ish years ago, I get a letter in the mail. I'm living in Ohio at the time. It's from a law firm that I had never heard of. I don't understand why they have my address. Am I getting sued? What the fuck's going on? I open it up and it says you are eligible to sign up for a class action lawsuit against the NCAA. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And I'm reading through it, and Ed O'Bannon is suing the NCAA because of the video game shit, right? The NCAA was their EA Sports, whoever was putting out these video games of basketball and football players. Not they're using their likeness without using their likeness. You're saying exact same height, exact same weight, exact same skin tone.
I remember
left-handed.
playing
He's
center number 20 for Ohio
right,
State.
Center,
just so happened to be a 7'1" black.
And he's got like a brace on his wrist.
That's center number 20.
Yeah, it could be anybody. He's from Indianapolis, Indiana. It could be anybody. So O'Bannon sues, and it's a class action lawsuit. So anybody that was in any of the video games can sign up for their share of money. There was, believe it or not, there is a fat white guy that wore jersey number 34 on NCAA basketball 2009 and 2010, I believe.
Really?
I think it was 09 and 10, yeah. I was a 69 overall in one of them.
That was on purpose.
So I sign up for it. I send it back. I get like $5,000 check in the mail.
You do not.
A few months later. I was like, this is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me because I thought being in the video game was the coolest thing that ever happened to me. So this is a double win for me. I was like, I wasn't even mad. Was I mad about them using about them using my likeness? I couldn't have been happier.
That's me.
And now I get paid for it on top of it. This is incredible. So
do you think that how do class action lawsuits work? Is it like there's a huge pot and anyone that fills out that form that gets divided?
Exactly right, yeah.
So do you think you benefited off like a bunch of people being like not opening their mail? Fuck, 5,000.
Are you asking me if I called my teammates and said, "Hey guys, make sure you sign up"? Were you asking was I a good teammate?
No, I would have
because if you're asking that, I have no comment. If that's what you're asking, I have no comment.
I just think that you may have been a type of person to fill that shit out, and maybe other people may not have.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. There's like 5 guys that were paid out, and I'm one of them.
It's like the DraftKings King of the Court thing where they pay out like however many use it. What if you got all $1 million?
Yeah,
You're the only person.
I was the only guy that thought to fill this thing out. So anyway, I was like, this is great, dude. I'm gonna keep my head on a swivel. Anytime a class action lawsuit comes around, I get a letter in the mail. I'm gonna fill it out. I get one over the summer. So there's the case House versus the NCAA. House, some swimmer I think he was at Arizona State, is suing the NCAA again. For God knows, like the same sort of shit. It's like name, image, likeness type bullshit. And it became. I remember talking about it or noticing it or whatever because the big takeaway that I had from the House versus NCAA case over the summer was that schools have to now directly pay the players. Like it's putting an end to these collectives. Like the schools themselves are just going to pay, because we know that that's happening anyway. It's like why do we have this fucking collective thing? Just take a cut of your money, give it to their players, and let's move on. That was like the story coming out of it. What I had failed to mention, what slid under my radar, and I don't know how this happened, but it was put on my radar this week because Dabo Swinney was talking about it. I think Matt Rule was there's clips of him talking about it as well. It's bringing on the death of the walk-on, Tate. They basically, the House versus NCAA case, I didn't realize this, over the summer, they are like hard capping roster limits, which they're right now it's a little ambiguous how many guys you can put on a roster. Some teams have like fucking 19 guys on the roster, and you can only dress a certain amount or whatever. But like, yeah, you take as many walk-ons as you want, and they're putting a hard cap on it. It's going to be 15 players on your roster, and that's it. And all of them have to have scholarships. So there's no more walk-ons. And Dabo's upset about this, and rightfully so. Dabo's a former walk-on, and he's like, this is fucked. This is the death of the walk-ons. Like, walk-ons are super important. And I'm nodding along with him because I myself, once upon a time, was in fact a walk-on. And I would not be sitting in this chair if not for my walk-on opportunity. I would not have, frankly, the life I have. Basically, everything I have in life is because I knew Greg Oden. If you're telling me that dudes can't ride the coattails of their friends to these schools, we're like, guys like me are fucked. Right. And I'm very upset about this. And somehow, like, this was a story in July. I didn't really see that as the take-home point of this class action lawsuit. Now the chickens are coming home to roost. Is that how you say it? I don't know. That's a Brandon Walker-ism. Now that it's here and it's like, oh shit, they're just so Clemson's doing like senior night for football this weekend, and apparently he's got a bunch of like walk-ons that he's telling them, like, you're not going to be able to play next year. We don't have a spot for you.
They said they're going to cut it by 30 people.
They got to cut 30 people, so he's like letting the walk-ons do senior night. This is how it came up. Is he's like, I'm letting all the walk-ons that aren't going to be here next year, even though they're not seniors, they're going to have a senior night thing. Which, like, I'm not a Dabo guy, and Dabo, how do you say his name? Is it Dabo or Dabo? I always forget.
I go Dabo.
I think
Dabo,
most people do.
Swinney.
For some reason, I fucking don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm not. I don't like the guy at all. But at the same time, he's right on this. He's right on this.
And you know who's wrong is the NCAA. This is going to have quite the domino effect. Like, think about all the things that change when there's no walk-ons. First of all, let me tell you something. The team GPA. The team GPA will change. You all these people boast the way I understood Ohio State for the football team was this. The amount of stars you have, the lower on the GPA you're allowed to be recruit-wise. To be a walk-on, you need to have a 4.0.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so you need to carry our GPA. Also, walk-ons, and correct me if I'm wrong, like that, they make practices better. They make everything more intense because they're there to compete. As opposed, you know what I mean by that?
They are, yeah, no, I do, yeah. They are actually, I believe this, an integral part of college football, college basketball, college,
Yeah, that's not a joke.
College teams, they no one individual is that important, I guess, but like the idea of like having walk-ons to use for practice squads, to use for
because they don't think they're too important to do scouting purposes.
Yes.
They understand their role.
And for like certain contexts of like, we don't want our stars to get banged up here, football is probably more important, but you like throw a guy in to like demonstrate something, but like, of course we don't want our star player to be in there. I don't know. Yeah. So Dabo says he's trying to find workarounds, but that somehow flew under my radar. Now I'm fired up about it. And college basketball walk-ons fucking rule, dude. They're so fun when they come in, and
that's the other thing. Fan favorites.
So fan favorites.
What are you going to do when
we want dun, dun.
Are we abolishing that chant too?
And then the walk-on comes in, the place goes crazy.
Yeah, what are we going to do when we're up 40 at home?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just dribble it out?
I don't know.
Ugh.
I don't know. So yeah, they snuck that one past me. I thought class action lawsuits were the coolest thing, and they're apparently not. And on top of that, this same lawsuit, I forgot this part. This same lawsuit is one of the rulings was they're giving back pay to people that didn't get NIL. Never mind, because the O'Bannon thing was just a video game. This is like there's like a pot of money for people who played on national television regularly and didn't get your NIL and whatever. So like the modern type athlete.
So we're paying like the Reggie Bushes out of this?
Well, here's the thing, Tate. I was like, fuck yeah. Again, I don't feel like I'm entitled to this, but like, I mean, by the definition, I was on some teams that were, I was on Big Ten champion teams. We're on national television every night. I wasn't doing much, but
team
like,
sport.
You know, it is a team sport. Fuck it. I'll fill it out. I go to fill it out. It says, what years did you play? The furthest back it went was the 2016 season. What the fuck?
Disrespectful to the old heads.
What the fuck?
You guys built this game. This sport.
Yeah. We launched the Big Ten Network.
Oh my goodness.
Where's my money? You think the Big Ten Network exists without me? Probably. It's very detrimental to the point I'm trying to make here, but no. So I think I'm out on these class action lawsuits.
So since you're out on class action lawsuits, you'll give the $5,000 back?
I'm out moving forward. There's been
I tried to set you up so easily for a Jim Calhoun, not a
dime back. Not a dime back. No, I'll give it back. Yeah, I'll give it back. In fact, as soon as we get done doing the show, I'm gonna
hand it over.
I'm gonna just hand it over. At number 3 on the fraud power rankings this week, I'm gonna need your help on this one.
Okay.
Baller TV.
Right up that's in my wheelhouse.
What the hell is Baller TV?
I know exactly what Baller TV is because it is the way that I was able to watch AAU middle school girls basketball for my
yeah. Say that second part.
I saw TJ started shaking his head. It's because that is the AAU circuit, like $10 to watch an entire tournament, and I could see the kids coming up through my program. Like,
because
I was a high school girls basketball coach. Yes,
we have some people that
sorry.
That.
Should have said that part first. But my point is this: I was under the impression it was a camera stuck on a court, you know, those AAU facilities that have like 16 courts in a row, and it follows the action, and it fucking sucks. And sometimes the action's down here and the camera's pointing that way, and you get what you pay for. It's like $9. I hadn't heard Baller TV in 3 years until yesterday.
JMU, I don't know if they had other games on it. I only know because we have JMU people, PFT and Ebo. Our JMU guys. But Ebo brought it to my attention that JMU was playing UIC. They tipped off at 11 a.m. and they were playing on Baller TV. And I was like, what the hell is Baller TV? And Ebo was like, I don't know, some pay-per-view thing that I have to pay for to watch this game. And then you watch the game, and they didn't even have the score on there. And then there's like a little thing at the bottom that was like, there's nothing we can do about this. Because like did you see that?
Yeah.
The little fucking like... Like they put a disclaimer at the bottom. It's like we realize there's not a score, but like
that's what I'm saying. That is Baller TV. If you look at it right now, Baller TV is a massive library for live streaming youth sports. That's how they describe themselves.
So here's the question: if you're JMU basketball, would you rather be on Baller TV or just not on the air at all? Would you rather just be like, this game's not on television?
It's got to be no TV at all.
I think no TV at all. They're playing in Daytona Beach, I think. They're playing in, this is Feast Week's coming up, and a lot of these Thanksgiving type, it's the time of year for these, like, getaway type, games and whatever else. So they're playing in Daytona. I would rather just tell the alums, like, hey, we're taking the boys down to Daytona. We're going to play some basketball. Yeah. It's just not going to be on TV, though. It's not going to be on TV, but we'll put out the box score. We'll, you can listen on the radio. We'll send our radio guys down there, but it's just not going to be on TV. I think I'd rather have that than Ohio State playing on Baller. If Ohio State played on Baller TV, 0% chance I'm signing up for that shit.
And you do have to sign up. You have to log in. The thing about Baller TV that I learned again yesterday, no free trials.
No free
trials. You've got to give me, anytime there's like a Peacock game or something like that, it's like, all right, I'll do the
Ebo said it was like $5 too.
Yeah.
Which is outrageous for one
game.
One basketball game against UIC. It was crazy. I had no idea Baller TV existed, and yesterday I learned about it, and I was like, no. Get this out of my face. At number 2, this is exciting. At number 2 on the fraud power rankings this week, Kenneth Pomeroy, aka Ken Pom.
Didn't see this coming.
I subscribe to Ken Pom. He does great work. I'm a Ken Pom guy. I'm an Evan Miyakawa guy. I'm a Bart Torvik guy. I'm a whoever ranks Ohio State highest guy. I like them all. No, I don't have any problem with KenPom. At the same time, I do every so often look at his algorithm and I say, there's just no way that's true. There's no way, Ken. I understand that you're a numbers guy, you're a stat nerd. You know shit at a level I probably don't, but you don't get it all right. There are things that you fuck up. One thing I noticed that he fucked up, the number one strength of schedule in the United States right now of all of college basketball, there are 364 Division I teams, right? The number one strength of schedule, according to KenPom, the Kansas City Roos. All right? Now, the University of Missouri at Kansas City, I don't know what they go by. I think it's Kansas City now. It used to be UMKC. Maybe it still is. Anyway, you know the school I'm talking about, the Roos. They have, on November 11th, they played at Iowa State. They lost 82-56. On November 16th, they played at Creighton. They lost 79-56. Okay? So those are two, Iowa State, very good team.
Good team.
Creighton, very good team. These are two very good teams that they are playing. You're saying to yourself, Mark, that checks out. You know, if those are that seems like two tough games. The Roos have played 5 games, Tate, and I'm going to tell you the other 3 teams they have played. They opened the season against a team called Hannibal LaGrange, which is an NAIA school.
Okay.
They won 91-68. According to Wikipedia, Hannibal LaGrange is a school that has an enrollment of take a stab. Take a stab at how many people go to Hannibal LaGrange.
3,500.
494 students.
10 times you.
They opened the they opened the season playing a school with 494 students.
This is the toughest schedule in the country.
And KenPom says this is the toughest schedule in the country.
Yes.
They opened the season with a school an NAIA school that plays that has 494 kids. Their second game, they follow that up. So that's on November 4th. On Friday, November 8th, they play a school called Kansas Christian College. Kansas Christian started their program 7 years ago. I spent 30 minutes last night trying to figure out what level of basketball this is. I don't know. I couldn't really figure it out. I saw that they were like, I was like, are they an NCAA school, like Division III? Is it NAIA? The only thing I could find is like they're a member of like the National Christian College Athletic Association, which I don't know what is that below. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, I am.
Is that below NAIA?
Yes.
Is that
yes?
Okay.
There's like
all right. So now
Ohio Christian, yeah.
Okay, now I know what level they are. So they are a National Christian College Association Athletic whatever. They started their program 7 years ago. Kansas City, the Roos beat them 124-36.
Good win.
Kansas Christian is 1-4 on the season right now. I did some Kansas Christian.
Yeah, jeez, dude.
They are 1-4 on the season. They lost earlier this season, so they already lost 124-36 to Kansas City. They lost earlier this season to a school called Friends University.
I actually love that.
They lost 107-78 to Friends University. Kansas City is playing this school, and KenPom says this is the toughest schedule in the country. Playing a school that lost by 30 to Friends.
There can't be a place called Friends University. Oh, there is. Friends University. Wow. What's going on with KenPom? Where's that coming from? Because are we ready? Are we ready?
I'm not done yet.
Right,
I'm not done yet.
Keep going.
They lost to Friends University by 30. No one told them life was going to be that way. Guess how many people go to Kansas Christian? Guess the enrollment of
It was high last time. I'll go 1,700.
130 people, according to Wikipedia.
This is a university?
A Division I school by the name of Kansas City, the Kansas City Roos.
Yep.
That KenPom says has the toughest schedule in all of Division I. Played a school that, according to Wikipedia, has an enrollment of 130 people.
Titus, I took Biology 101 at Ohio State. 450 people in one class.
It gets better, Tate, or worse, depending on your perspective. On Monday, and this is the reason KenPom is on the Fraud Power Rankings this week. On Monday of this week, so those are the first 2 games for Kansas City. Then they play Iowa State and Creighton. Then on Monday, Kansas City plays a school by the name of Calvary.
Okay.
Now, Calvary, you're saying, give me an idea of how good this Calvary basketball team is.
Are they up, down?
Calvary lost to Friends University as well. Calvary lost to Friends University by a score of 126-39. Calvary also lost to a school called York in Nebraska. Don't know what level they are, just looking at their schedule. They lost 104-54. They lost to a school called York in Nebraska by 50. And again, this is a team that a Division I team is putting on their schedule.
To be clear, go ahead.
Their enrollment is 348 students. And on Monday, Kansas City beat Calvary by a score of 119-19. They won. Kansas City beat the school by 100 points. And Ken Pom says, toughest schedule in the country.
I'm lost, though. I need you to help me understand. So it seems like he's saying their top-end games, which were who? Creighton and
Iowa State.
Creighton, Iowa State. Do they lose strength? They have to lose strength of schedule points for playing those schools. But also, I guess my main point is Creighton and Iowa State is not even the best top-end schedule.
The best top 2 games that anybody could play right now. I think it's that. In fact, I know it's this.
Like Baylor played Gonzaga, St. John's, and Arkansas so far.
Yeah, I know that this is the case. It's if you're not a Division I school, Ken Pom just doesn't count the game as happening.
So they've played 2 games.
So in Ken Pom's algorithm, they've only played 2 games, and it's against Iowa State and Creighton.
Friends University might.
But so like I understand how we got here, but at the same time, we got to fix the algorithm if that's the case.
Yeah.
I can't be going to look at like who's got the toughest schedule in the country, and you're showing me a team that beat fucking Calvary by 100, Tate.
Yeah, you can't.
By 100. It gets even better, though.
Uh-oh.
Just when you think this can't get any better, it gets even better. Do you remember a school by the name of Free Lutheran Bible College?
Frauds last week.
They were frauds last week. Calvary, this team that Kansas City just beat by 100.
Do they play?
Not only do they play, Tate.
Oh, shit.
They play at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
They do not.
They play at 9 a.m. tomorrow on Baller TV.
Get the fuck out of here.
I made up the Baller TV.
Oh,
I got carried away.
Are you watching? You have to watch.
I would if you put that on pay-per-view. I would. Baller TV. Put that on pay-per-view for $50, and I'm watching it at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
So this team has been losing by 100, but they play the team that last week you put on there because they lose to everyone.
They lost to the
JV team.
They lost to the Division III JV team by 100, and they're now playing Calvary. This is the college basketball game of the year.
What's the spread? Whose line is that? What do you got?
I think I'm doing Calvary minus 24.5. Free Lutheran's bad. TJ.
Free Lutheran also has a game tonight.
Yeah,
at 6 p.m. So they play at 6 p.m. tonight and then 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
That's a tough back-to-back.
That's a tough back-to-back. And I have not seen Calvary play. I have seen Free Lutheran play, and it's bad. So I have to imagine Calvary.
And I got to assume, Free Lutheran's not. I wonder what their record is on back-to-backs.
Yeah.
Probably bad. But you're
saying
their
record is 2 games, not only back-to-backs, 2 games within a 12-hour.
Yeah, that's not even really a back-to-back. That's a double over.
Double, yeah.
So you got a minus 24.5, you're saying?
Give me 24.5.
Okay. We'll revisit.
I got Calvary minus 24.5. But yeah, Kansas City, the take-home point is that Kansas City beat a team by 100 and still somehow has the number 1 strength of schedule on Ken Pom right now.
Team to watch out for.
But it's becoming a problem. I am getting very fascinated by these small schools, and
I can tell. I'm
like diving into rabbit holes and like trying to fight, because the other thing is like a lot of these small schools don't have the resources, and I understand, and I don't expect them to, but they don't have the resources to like put out box scores of every game, and like it's not like Calvary. It's not easy to figure out what their record even is and how many who their leading scorer is or anything about them really. Which I take as a challenge, So
right.
like you can't just go to the website and see. Calvary doesn't have, like, they have their schedule posted. They don't have the results posted. So you have to like cross-reference. You have to go to the other school's website to see if they beat Calvary. Maybe they have a box score. Maybe they don't. Maybe you just Google the right thing and see if there's like a write-up on it. I don't know. I'm becoming obsessed with it.
I love it.
I'm trying to find the worst college basketball team in the country, I think. I think
I think you found them.
I think we might find it
we need someone to loot.
Tomorrow at 9 a.m., yeah.
Shipple.
It's the Shipple. At number 1 on the fraud power rankings, Nate Oates, head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, who just won a top 25 matchup by 13, scored 100 points.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying to yourself, that's pretty good. Why would Nate Oates, in a bounce-back spot after losing at Purdue, he does everything you'd expect. His team does everything you'd expect. They take care of business against Illinois. Very deep basketball team. They very much look the part of a Final Four contender. Why? In what world would Nate Oates be number 1 on the fraud power rankings?
What'd you find?
I'm going to tell you in what world. Mark Sears does not play the final 11 minutes and 27 seconds of this game. Now, if you believe the mainstream media, and a guy like me, I'm not really sure where I stand on that.
Mm-hmm.
If you believe the mainstream media, they'll tell you that Mark Sears went to Nate Oates during the game and said, Coach, don't play me. Sit me out. The boys are taking care of business without me. Yeah, I don't need to be out there. So you know what? For the final 11:27 of this game, put me on the bench. I don't know if I believe that. I think that might be some PR spin to make Mark Sears think on a night when he did nothing statistically. This was an intangibles play. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Where you say if we can get nothing else out of Mark Sears, let's at least push this narrative that like he's a great teammate, great leader, and he's someone that'll stand up and say, I'm not worried about my individual points. I'm worried about the team. All right.
Can I ask you something though? Do you like that in elite? Like,
no, I want him to be like, I'm gonna
get your ass back in there.
Get
Mark.
back in there, play defense. Like if you're not gonna score, like
impact the game without
dive
scoring.
all over the floor for loose balls.
I didn't like that story.
And clap it up and like get the boys going. Like
people are getting all misty eyed in Tuscaloosa, being like, oh, what a character. Okay, continue.
So I don't know if I buy the story, Tate.
Okay.
I think Nate Oates just did that himself, and here's why. Here's why he's on the fraud power rankings. If he had just simply put Mark Sears back in the game, I have reason to believe Mark Sears was going to go off. I have reason to believe Mark Sears was going to finish this game with 20-plus points. And here's how I know that.
Finished with 0. Why would you say?
Here's how I know that. Because later that night, Mark Sears got in the gym and did not miss. Mark Sears gets back to campus at 2 a.m. The next shots that he takes of a basketball, he shoots 80% on the gun. He shoots 700 times, does not miss, Tate.
Oh,
so
and then put it on his Instagram story.
From where I'm sitting, I believe that Nate Oates just gave up on his All-American too soon. That if he would have just waited, Mark Sears he got the first 5 misses out of the way, and the next 669 shot. How many did he shoot?
Yeah,
he made 669.
He made 532 of 669.
669 he took. He was about to make 532 of the next 669 shots he was going to take if Nate Oates would have simply believed in him and put him back in the game.
Yeah, everyone knows the way to get out of a slump is to keep shooting. Let me read you the last line in Rico Bosco's blog about this situation. So let this be a lesson to all the kids out there. When a game doesn't go your way, you can sit and sulk, or you can be like Mark Sears and simply go work your ass off in the gym. What a role model, what a leader. Some things are bigger than sports. Roll Tide.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. Like I'm trying not to overreact, and I don't think it's. I actually do kind of believe the story that Mark Sears was like, they're better without me. I just don't. If that is in fact what happened, I can never remember a time that a guy of that caliber, like just seeing this, scoring 0 points without being hurt or without foul trouble or whatever, asking to not play down the stretch. They did win by 13, and I think if you're a Bama fan, you're like, the team is in a good spot. Like we're fine. Like this was, as long as you win the games, that's all that matters. But what a bizarre situation.
What's your take on the lose the game? No, I'm sorry, not lose the game. Play poorly, immediately go to the gym, which is fine if that's what you want to do. Take a picture.
It's the post it on Instagram thing that's crazy, and just go do it. You don't need to post it on Instagram. What are we doing?
That is, I remember we were in high school. We lost a big game. We missed free throws at the end, and the coach just ripped everyone's ass. And the rest of us like, all right, fuck it, we're leaving. One kid goes out in the gym, goes right to the free throw line, and just starts shooting in front of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a show. Mark Sears, that was a show.
I sort of believe the story about him not playing. I guess I'm going back and forth on this because now that I think about it, like Grant Nelson wasn't starting games earlier this season. Wrightsell, he was bringing off the bench too. I think Nate Oates is like fucking with lineups, and you would say the big picture, it's like you're working on the depth and you're getting, you're figuring out lineups and all that sort of thing. And this is all just a precursor to what really matters, which is March, and we're just kind of figuring things out as we go. But I can't imagine a world where you have a guy who's National Player of the Year good. And you're playing a top 25 team, and the last 12 minutes of the game, you're like, yeah. If you're Nate Oates and Mark Sears comes in, he's like, Coach, play the other guy. I look him in the eye, I'm like, no.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
It's the movie Miracle when he's like, I want the guy who refused to take the test.
Yeah.
No, Mark Sears, I want the guy that won't fucking leave the game until he makes a shot.
Yeah. Or again, if you can if I don't know, Mark Sears, like there's some world where he's shooting and he's like, my elbow hurts. I have tennis elbow. Am I shooting elbow? Like the shot doesn't feel right off my hand. Whatever. And he's like, I just don't have it tonight. I'm not gonna be able to score. There are a million other ways you can impact the game.
Mm-hmm.
A million. I can name 3 of them right now: rebounds, defense, assists, and then almost a million more.
And that is the sign of leadership, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, all bullshit aside, hey, I'm not scoring. Watch me dive on the floor and fire up the team. Not, hey, coach, I'm done.
Listen, man, nothing gets me fired up like a college basketball conspiracy, and Nate Oates and Mark Sears right now are delivering the goods in that regard. Denzel Valentine will always have 2016 when I was screaming from the mountaintop that Denzel Valentine never got knee surgery. And I worked myself into shoot on that one, but it was so fun. Denzel Valentine got a knee scope. He was like, I had a quick aside. I had a theory that Denzel Valentine, who was National Player of the Year good, had a very fucking hot start to the season. Michigan State peaked at I don't know if they were ranked number 1 or they had a really hot start. Mm-hmm. Denzel Valentine was like a triple-double machine. His averages were, I don't know if you ever got one, but you know what I'm saying. He was doing it all. He's rebounding, assisting, scoring. And then he randomly gets a knee scope, and he's out for like 3 weeks. And then he comes back, and he's like dunking on dudes and is back to being awesome. And I started the theory that Denzel Valentine didn't actually have a knee scope. It was Tom Izzo manufacturing adversity for his team because Michigan State was peaking too soon. And part of my theory was, 1, he was just as explosive when he came back. 2, he wore leggings, so you never saw the scars.
Couldn't see a scar.
Yeah, I was like, show me the scars, Denzel. It got to a point that Tom Izzo was asked about it in a press conference and had to address it.
And you started it?
Yeah.
I love this.
Someone asked Tom Izzo, like, are you seeing the reports or not the report, the rumors that Denzel Valentine was manufactured? He answers the question, like, he's like, what the fuck? Like, he's confused. They're playing at Ohio State, like, a couple games later. I'm walking in the shot and me and Greg are going to, like, work out together, and we're walking during Michigan State shoot-around. We're going up to, like, the weight room, and we're walking in the back of the gym, and Izzo's walking down the hallway, getting ready to get on the team bus to go back to the hotel, and he sees Greg and is like, oh, what's up, big man? And they start talking, and then he turns to me, and he's like, I'm Coach Izzo, and I was like, I'm Mark Titus, good to meet you. And he goes, you're the guy! And he literally, Tate, he literally puts me in a headlock, like, to give me a noogie. He's like, you son of a bitch. Like, he's laughing, but he's like, you son of a bitch, you're the guy that, you know.
Oh, what a moment.
It was such a proud
moment.
What a moment. It was probably the peak of my trolling.
That's very good.
My trolling
Yeah, when
career.
when the media starts rolling with your troll, that's good.
It's a good, you know it. You know it better than most. But yeah, like maybe Nate Oates is gonna give me another conspiracy I can run with. The Mark Titus Show is sponsored by Jack Black. Jack Black just came out with 4 new scents of their #1 deodorant, Pit Boss. Their deodorant is the best at controlling odor and wetness, no matter what I'm doing. And now I can have my cleanser, lotion, and antiperspirant all in my favorite scent, which is a total game changer. Jack Black's original Pit Boss deodorant is a top seller, and now you can get the same reliable odor and wetness protection in 4 new masculine scents. Big Sur offers a refreshing aroma that mixes marine, accord, and amber. Blue Midnight features adventurous notes of black pepper and lavender. Jack Zen presents a grounding blend of bamboo and violet. I think I'm wearing the Blue Midnight today. Cody, come get a whiff of this and tell everybody how good this smells. I was joking, Cody. Don't do that. It does smell great, though. Blue Midnight's awesome. Black pepper, lavender notes. Jack Black was founded over 20 years ago with the goal of offering. You did start to get up. You did start. Let the record show you did start to get. You were willing to come sniff my pit. Jack Black was founded over 20 years ago with the goal of offering men's body care products that were just as effective as women's body care products. Their commitment to superior skincare has made Jack Black, according to Circana, the #1 men's body care brand by total dollar sales. If you want simple, effective products to do what they say they're going to do, you need Jack Black. Head to getjackblack.com/Titus and use code Titus, Titus, for 10% off your order and free shipping. Once again, getjackblack.com/Titus, 10% off your order plus free shipping, and make sure you use promo code Titus so they know I sent you. All right, before we get out of here, let's do some cross-off teams. I wanted this week to be a mass crossing off. I wanted to get down to a more manageable number. We had 364 teams in Division I. We've crossed off a ton. Not really a ton. We've crossed off, like, we've done some en masse conferences and also Missouri. But I want to cross off. I want to get it down to a manageable thing, so it's a little easier to follow. So, number 1, I'm sticking with this week the stipulation if you lose to Villanova. So Villanova got Penn blew. Why can I not talk? Villanova blew out Penn
Okay.
on Tuesday. A bounce back game for Kyle Neptune. He must have listened to the podcast, heard us talking about when he's going to get fired, and finally Villanova played a decent game. They blow out Penn. I'm crossing off Penn because they simply lost to Villanova. Now, I'm saying that to say Villanova has a decent stretch coming up. I don't have it in front of me. Let me take a second to find it. But on the Villanova schedule, they have Maryland. Where are they playing that one? Sunday. They are in Newark. They're playing Maryland and Newark. They're playing Riders, not good, obviously. And then they have Cincy at home. So I think these next 3, I'm putting a pause on the Villanova disrespect.
Okay.
Where if Villanova beats you, it's not necessarily disqualifying. Because
Really?
I think this is the Kyle Neptune like prove it moment in time. But we'll readjust. So I don't want to get carried away. Villanova's not a terrible basketball team. Like Villanova's going to win games this year. It's not like they're going to win 4. So I don't want to get too crazy with the Villanova. But right now, I'm sticking with the Villanova. This is the last week we'll do it. If Villanova beats you, you're out.
Okay.
But then I want to see what happens these next 3 games. We might bring that back as a stipulation. 2 things that I think I'm going to stick with. These are 2 rules that I would like to introduce, and I think these are going to be hard and fast rules to where I don't even care if this happens to Duke or Auburn or Houston or anyone else.
This is just a qualifier.
This
if
is a
you
qualifier.
do this, you're out.
If you do this, you're out. Number
It's a
1,
dangerous game to play.
if you score fewer than 40 points in a game and lose. And the lose part's important because there could be a game where it's just a disgusting game and, it's a rock fight. Some shit happens. The ball's slippery. I don't know. It could just be a gross game. And if you find a way to win, you're still in. But if you score fewer than 40 points in a game and lose, you're out. We add to the list this week. Evansville is out. Buckeyes held Evansville to 30 points.
Dominant performance.
On Tuesday. So we're crossing Evansville off. Canisius against Maryland on Tuesday also was held under 40 points. So we're crossing them off.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, Wofford against Duke scored fewer than 40 points. So we're crossing Wofford off. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that feel like a fair rule?
Yep, I got him over here for you. Yep.
If you can't even score 1 point a minute,
you're not winning March
you're not
Madness.
winning a national championship. There's just no way. Another rule I would like to add, if you lose back-to-back games by 20-plus points, you're out. If you get blown out, you can get blown out once, but if you follow up a blowout by getting blown out again, you're not a serious title contender.
That'll be interesting.
Could be interesting for Big 12 play.
Because yeah, I was going to say there will
common.
be title contenders that get blown out this year.
Sure.
We just can't have it happen twice.
Yeah, but if you get blown out twice, it tells me one of 2 things. You don't have talent or you don't have heart. Or maybe both. But you need both to win a national championship.
Yeah.
So I'm sticking by that. Houston Christian lost earlier in the season to Texas by 31 and then Creighton by 35 back-to-back.
So
that was the one school.
So we have to cross them
But
off.
I haven't gone through every school so that we could have potentially add more. I was working on what I'm about to say next more last night. So there could be more that we cross off, but that's something to keep an eye on. As the season progresses, if a team loses back-to-back by 20+, we're crossing them off. And then finally, this one's just for this week because it's not a like season thing. It's just it's something I thought about last night. Since the NCAA tournament expanded in 1985 to 64 teams, nobody has won there have been 0. Nobody has won a national championship in their first trip to the Sweet 16. So no program that had never previously been to the Sweet 16 has ever won a national championship, if that makes sense.
This is going to be like when the dinosaurs just all died at once.
Yes.
We're about to lose.
So if you are a program that has never, as of right now, been to a Sweet 16, I'm not saying you can't make a Final Four. I'm not saying you can't make the national championship game. I'm saying you will not win the national championship. And that's all we're worried about, right? That's
it. It's a tar and feather list.
You can get to the national championship, lose in septuple overtime.
Good callback.
You still didn't win. It's never been done before, and for that reason, I'm crossing off any team that's never been to the Sweet 16. The notable ones would be Boise State, Nebraska. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to read them all. There's like 100 and
we'll tweet out a graphic.
We're Nebraska, Northwestern, Murray State. UCF is an interesting one. Central Florida.
Undefeated.
Yeah. Undefeated Central Florida. Never been to a Sweet 16. Liberty, North Texas, Arkansas State, UC Irvine, Yale. Yale had been to an Elite 8, but not a Sweet 16. which is confusing. In like 1949,
Hold on.
they get credited as going to the Elite Eight because the tournament only had 8 teams, but they hadn't been to a Sweet 16. What do we do about that one?
Yeah, they haven't
made a Sweet 16. They made Elite Eight. They made a tournament that only had 8 teams at the time.
Yeah, they're out.
But they had never made a tournament. They had never made a Sweet 16 when there had been 16 or more teams.
I like this rule. You can't see a team celebrating their first Sweet 16 and then winning 4.
And then still win it. Yeah, it's the first Sweet 16 in school history. You can picture it now. They're going on to the Sweet 16. The alums are crying in the stands. The place is going crazy. They're back on campus waving at everybody.
Yep.
That's not a team that's like locked in to win 4 more.
Never has been.
They're not going to win 4 more. And I don't mean to. I'm not saying these aren't good teams. Boise State's the one that would worry us most.
Uh-huh.
What is Ken Pom, who I just said is a fraud? What does he have? He's got 35. Boise State's 35th on Ken Pom. So Boise State is officially, according to Ken Pom, who I just put at number 2 on the fraud power rankings, they are the best team that we've crossed off so far.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about Boise State. Lost to San Francisco by 11 earlier this season, so they're not going to win the national title. They could have a good year. Not going to win the national title. Yeah, but there are a ton more. There's Austin Peay, Illinois State.
So ultimately, this knocks off how many teams are we? We'll update it, but
I think we're down to like 150-ish, 160-ish, somewhere in there. I think we're down to about 150.
This will be good.
Much more manageable.
Yeah.
So those are can we think of any other rules that we should add? Those are the ones that came to mind for me. But then I got to look at like the teams that are left and sort of figure out
a way to
stuff that
some qualifiers.
Because like you said, you don't want to just do like if you lose by a certain amount of points.
Yeah, I mean Baylor lost to Gonzaga by 100.
Yeah, then we'd have to cross up Baylor, and I'm not ready to yet.
Waco's too far away.
So you got to be careful. You don't want to get too carried away and just say, if you lose by a lot one time or
we'll get in the lab. But we were trying to get a mass exodus to get it down to like the manageable crew, and now we can do.
I texted you one thing last night that I can't stop thinking about, but it doesn't make any fucking sense.
What is it?
What if we crossed off anybody that starts 3 or more left-handers? And I don't know why I even thought of that.
I need the good listeners of this show to tell us if that would be a mistake.
But the problem with that is I don't want to actually go through.
I know that's the thing.
My rationale with that is wasn't there a moment in human history that left-handers were thought of as like demons?
You're looking at a lefty right now.
You're a lefty?
Brother.
In the Middle Ages, lefties were associated with the devil and often accused of the crime of witchcraft. Yeah, left-handers are witches.
They're also more creative. I don't know if you know that. That's
so you're a fucking witch. So I thought if you're a team that's starting 3 or more, you're
something to keep an eye on.
Or maybe you're better. Maybe that means you're better.
Oh no.
I don't know.
We'll keep an eye on.
Anyway, yeah, we're down to like 160ish. So there you go. All right, that's all I got.
Good hoops tonight.
Good hoops tonight. Duke at Arizona. Must win for both teams.
No, I wouldn't say.
I wouldn't say either, but it feels like kind of ish.
Baylor, Tennessee.
Feels like it's definitely a big game for both teams, and not just because it's a marquee matchup, but both teams are coming off of losses.
I think if Duke goes to Arizona and beats the shit out of them, I think Arizona's on your next fraud watch rankings.
I guess not kind of. Duke beat Wofford. I want to clarify. But coming off of losses against the last game against decent teams they played. Yeah. This feels like a fraud watch game.
It really does.
Yeah, this is a fraud. This isn't a must win. This isn't like your season's over, but this is you lose this one, you're in a spot on the fraud power ranking.
Well, it's Arkansas Baylor all over again. Both teams before, and then it's like, all right, who's the fraud?
Feast week coming up next week. We got a Baylor Tennessee tonight. That's gonna be a great game as well. Obviously tomorrow, the big one, Calvary Free Lutheran Bible College in the morning. But Feast week's coming up next week. That is the best. Until the NCAA tournament, that is the best week of college basketball. Until, really, I guess, conference tournament week. It's the best week because there's so much hype and anticipation and excitement for all these teams, and we're trying to figure out the national landscape and who's good. And, we've had some good games so far, some awesome matchups so far. Auburn beats Houston, and we're like, damn, is Auburn the best team in the country? We'll find out. Auburn's going to Maui. This is going to be a tough test. UConn thinks they're the best team in the country. They both can't win the Maui Invitational, Gonzaga's looked pretty good. Indiana feels like they have a good team, but also Indiana's kind of dicking around And Indiana last night against Greensboro, they were having some issues at times. So Atlantis is going to be interesting. I'm fired up for Feast Week because you come out of Feast Week, you get a better sense of where you start to let the cement dry a little bit, and it's never fully dry. That's what makes the sport fun. It's chaos. But we start to the picture starts to become a little clearer of what we're dealing with and how good these teams really are. So we're fired up for that for Feast Week. So we'll be back Monday doing a show then. I'll try to maybe do another. We got to figure out the schedule. I don't want to make these boys work too hard. I'm obviously the hardest working man in show business, but it takes more than just me to put the show on. And Cody has been on his hands and knees he's just begging me, sir, please. It's Thanksgiving, sir. Sir, please. Can I get some time off? And I'm not heartless, Tate. I want to give the kid.
Yeah.
I want to let the kid see his family. So we'll figure it out. We'll see if there's a second show next week because there's obviously going to be a ton of basketball. But at the very least, we will be back Monday. Enjoy the weekend. See you guys.